In the early 50s, Landcruiser first appeared on the market. Now we have this. This model, the LC200, has been out for about 10 years, more, and in automotive terms, that's positively ancient. But last year, in 2018, they made a few improvements, not the least being bi-LED headlights. They actually look pretty good lit up at night. This fairly bold grille, with chrome highlights of course. There's cameras all around this car, 360-degree view in fact. Not only that, there's cameras at the front wheels and underneath, so you can see exactly where the car is, especially in rough terrain. There's 18-inch wheels, a side step, and you can use smart entry from all door handles, including the rear, which means the key can always stay in your pocket. Around the back you'll see the V8 badge. LC200 comes in two engines, a V8 diesel and a petrol diesel. This is the 4.5 litre V8 diesel. Twin turbo with 200 kilowatts and a huge 650 newton meters of torque. Opening the back is a manual affair. In the back you'll see there's a third row of seats. They swing up to the sides, which leaves the floor nice and low. You'll use that most of the time, and the seats, if you don't want them, you can simply take them out and leave them at home. In the back there's a huge amount of space. There's enough room for 3 adults across the back seats, and there's a cargo map, all that sort of stuff, but look at the amount of room. There's about 30 centimetres space between the seats, and my feet fit under the seat really well. There's also rear controls for the air conditioning, rear vents, and look at the size of this centre bin. It is enormous. Seating is leather. Very smart indeed. And in the front, the centre console is where it's all happening. Excuse my dash cam cord. I've got that going all around the side, all the way up the top, and all the way over to my dash cam, which you can't actually see working but is. This large 9-inch screen is brilliant. Obviously there's inbuilt navigation, and here's your direct select buttons. Below that is the temperature for the climate control, dual zone climate control here, but there's also dual zone in the back. That makes it quad zone. High-low range for your gears. This is the crawl control, locking hubs and so forth, but this is particularly important. You set that to crawl when it's in low range, and you can select the speed. The car will do everything itself. It will pick itself up as if by the hand of God. Steering wheel buttons, all perfectly straightforward. Don't use the voice control, it's psychotic. These are the controls that control the center display and cruise control in Toyota's old position. There's also some wood grain scattered about the cabin, but I think we could do without it. Oddly, the mirrors are controlled from down here. Down below that we have some of the fitments for towing, which is an accessories pack that's been added to this car. Of course there's the full range of off-roading capabilities, but most of the time this car will be on-road. And what that means is that you can have a big, comfortable limousine-like ride in this massive car. It's got clever kinetic suspension, which by the way was developed in WA right here in Australia. And what it allows the car to do is unlock the sway bar so the wheels can operate independently. That's just genius. I mean, who thinks of that stuff? Acceleration is rather startling. The 650 newton meters of torque kick in from about 1600 revs, which is pretty low. But like all diesel engines, it runs out of puff despite its size pretty early in the piece. So 0 to 100 time for this 2,700 kilo car is still pretty leisurely. Not even going to mention it. The crawl control is one of those things, as I mentioned, that is just genius. It allows this huge car to pick itself up out of the sand and mud, even if it's buried past its axles. That means, God, this is busy. That's time you'd normally spend digging yourself out of quagmires and sand and dunes and God knows what else. Those 360 degree cameras not only have a bird's eye view from down on top and at the front when you're at traffic lights and so forth, but there's an automatic function, and if you leave it in automatic, it'll take you to whichever view it thinks you need. So if you slow down and there's cars in your sensor range, it'll go to that view. But if you're off-road, and this is just astounding, I haven't been able to demonstrate it, I've only seen it on videos, but there's a view underneath the car and another view of where the front wheels are. Front wheels. They have it, Landcruiser LC200. It gets 9.5 out of 10 because, frankly, there isn't anything else that can touch it. I know I've been giving a lot of cars 9.5 and 9 out of 10 recently, but there really isn't anything that can touch this old girl. Don't forget, click there to subscribe.